welcome to the Meeple Mentor YouTube channel. I'm Jared. Today we're doing a special unboxing of the new game Ark Nova, which I just got a copy of. It's been really difficult to get a copy of. It's been out of stock pretty much everywhere for months, so I finally got a copy. This is by Mathias Wigge and published by Capstone games. I did have a chance to play this with another friend's copy of the game, and I was sold, so I had to pick up a copy, and so I wanted to go ahead and do an unboxing video for you to see and show you what's inside, and we'll take a look. So on the back, I like to read what it says. It says, "In Ark Nova, you will plan and design a modern, scientifically managed zoo. Striving to make the most successful zoological establishment, you will build enclosures, accommodate animals, and support conservation projects all over the world. Specialists and unique buildings will help you in achieving this goal." At the heart of Ark Nova are 255 cards featuring animals, specialists, unique enclosures, and conservation projects, each with a particular ability. Use them to increase the appeal and scientific reputation of your zoo and to collect conservation points. Each player has a set of action cards which you will use and upgrade to carry out your plans. It includes 2 organizers for easy setup and storage. With a lot of love for the theme, game designer Mathias Wigge has created an interestingly interwoven game with high replayability and rich components. Ark Nova provides a remarkable gaming experience that will bring the game to the table again and again. All right, that's what the box says, and for the most part, I agree. That's kind of how it plays out. It's a very cool game. It's a lot of fun. It's recommended ages 14 and up, and plays in about 2.5 to 3 hours, 1 to 4 players. And it's very bright and colorful, as you can see from the box lid. And right inside, here we go. We've got a whole bag of baggies, always important. We're gonna need all those. We've got cubes, we've got cylinders in here. We've got red, black, yellow, blue. There's your colors. Here's your other player color pieces, and of course you can see the wooden cup of coffee to trigger when break time happens, which is an important part of how the game works out. One of the main actions you do kind of moves along the coffee tracker, and then when the break happens, it's kind of like ending a round, but there's no set number of rounds in the game. Instead, it's more of a race. It's similarly done like Rajas of the Ganges, where there's 2 tracks of different ways to score different things, and once those 2 markers meet on the board, that triggers the end. So this is the rule book, fully illustrated. Looks nice. Got good sections of text in here. Kind of tells you what all the different actions are and what they do. And yeah, and then there's a quick overview of the solo game right on the back. Here's a printout. There's a little sheet here of the glossary, and it's almost like kind of a FAQ, but I think it breaks down pretty much every card and some of the different icons that you might find, clarifications on abilities. Very helpful that it's in there, and it's also helpful that it's separate from the main rulebook. And we have a nice, thicker page here that's the icon overview in general. And so all these things are going to be referenced on your boards and on cards and everything else. So it's also a nice thing that you can quickly hand to somebody instead of having to look through a whole book. We have decks and decks of cards. A lot of people have compared this to Terraforming Mars because of how central the use of cards is during the game. And I'll explain a little bit more once we take a look. But here's what one of the sideboards looks like. And this is where you can earn these cooperation tokens during the game if you take this kind of action. You can also fund and participate in one of the what do they call it? Conservation projects. And you can also make your own, not just the ones that come out. Toss the silica gel, and we have some player mats. Okay, quite a few. I'm trying to see, is there a color difference on these? I don't know if there's a color difference, but certainly the maps are arranged different. And then the back, I think that's your standard side. So everyone could play the same map if you wanted. But of course, it's more interesting to play with a varied map composition here. Okay, a lot of options, and I think that's excellent. It's not just 4 options. There's a lot of options, so you may never get to play the same map or you can change it up every game so that everyone's playing something different, and like you got 7 or 8 games here that you've got a different map layout, so that's pretty cool. And that's in addition to the standard game, so really you've got 8 layouts to try. And of course most people might do the standard side first, but after that everyone's, you know, learning the new maps. So here we can see a series of punch boards that we can take a look at what's here. We've got the enclosures, which are kind of these shaped 2, 4, 3s, and then the singles. We have the special type of enclosures. I believe that's like the one for the birds, and then there's one for reptiles, that kind of thing. I think this one, or a petting zoo as well, okay. Then we've got some multiplier tokens, some status tokens. These are the cooperation bonus tokens that you can have up to 3 of. Also, each one of these you can have up to 3 of, and they give you bonuses. You've got these X's, which I can't remember what they call those, but essentially they're used to adjust your action points for the strength of a card action that you take. And then we've got these here, which are your money or currency. These little ones up here are kind of single building types, and they have different abilities to them, and it's nice to get them out there. It's like the more enclosures it's next to, it gives you stuff, and the other one is it counts as like a single enclosure if you need it, or a single full building. So a lot of these are just going to be very much the same. The first 4, so we've got quite a bit, enough for 4 players worth of tokens, because everyone's going to have kind of their own nice little pool of things. And over here we've got some bonus tokens that can be earned in various places on the game board, and then these are basically like in Terraforming Mars, the card referenced tiles that are unique. And so in this case, there are cards that reference each of these specific tile layouts for those animals. And so that's the only way to get those, is to play that card. This piece just popped right out. It looks like it's for the solo mode. I don't recall this playing in our first game, but it looks like it might just lay over the board to adjust what you do during the break room, or break points in the game. So that's kind of what we see here with the punch boards. Below that is the game board itself, and I know it's going to be long, so let me make a little space here on my table and see how much of this we can see at once. And flips out like 3 times here. And can we tell what player side this is? 4 player. I don't know. They might both be usable. I don't know what the differences are exactly, if there are any. Could be solo. I don't know. Let me know if you know if there's a difference on these. There's not an immediate difference that I can tell. But I seem to be looking at it mostly upside down. So there's a place for the deck, the discards, and then the new cards that can come out that you can try to build or take as a special action. You've got the tickets, which goes this way, and that kind of affects your income. And then there's the prestige, which goes the other way. Okay, so prestige starts here, tickets start here, but you can see they go opposite directions, and once your markers pass each other or touch, that's the end. So here's where some of those bonus tokens can be arranged, and I think there's another spot or 2 out here that they might go. And then there's different places that you can upgrade action cards. So this is another track that you can move up as you're playing and you want to try to get to be able to play these cards. You're going to need to increase this particular knowledge track, basically. and as long as you're in that group or higher, you know, then you can try to build one of those. And then these two get discarded, things slide, and all that kind of stuff. So that's just kind of what the board looks like. Enough room for the cards to come out, and then this here is, of course, an overview of what to do during the break, which is tracked by the cup, which goes here. And the cup is moved through an action, and so it's going to vary. Before I get into the cards, there are some trays, and I just want to take a quick look. These are very much the same type of trays and quality trays that you are familiar with if you've played A Feast for Odin. It's very much that exact type of thing. It doesn't have like a tight seal to them. It just fits over them well enough. I mean, if it's on the bottom, it's being pressed, it's not going to really move much, but it's not a click type of tray. It just kind of lifts right up. So enough there for different sections of the table for people to be able to reach in and grab their tiles that they need to use. All of that is there. And so here we've got the various decks of cards, and we'll take another look here at all of these. And first are some of the, I believe, kind of starting card goals that you might want to go towards at the beginning that you get dealt, right? I feel like there was one or two ways that you could actually get more of these, but I don't recall during the game, you know. Let's see, gotta be careful. I'm having trouble trying to get this open. All right, and these are kind of your standard card size USA card sleeves. There we go. Nice. Smells good. Okay, there's some more of the animal and action cards. Here's the player action cards, which are two-sided. There's the starting side and then the upgraded side. And during the game, you could upgrade up to 4 of the 5, making that action do more when you activate it. And over here, these green ones, those are going to be, I think, some of the conservation ones that come out at the bottom of that first board that we looked at, and different ways that you can try to score some points if you get it. So for instance, this one, it requires a certain number of predator icons in your zoo. So you look at the cards played and everything. So yeah, these are just different ways to score during the game that you can, you know, based on icons that you might have or number of you know, animals or categories that you filled out. That's what these are. And, you know, I think there's only a few that come out during the game anyway. These might be solo? I'm not sure. Maybe, oh, I know. These are the in-game ones that you get dealt, right? So you get dealt a certain number of these and you pick 1 or 2. And these are the ones that I was thinking, yeah, you can maybe get 1 or 2 more during the game, but usually you're just kind of limited to the ones that you grabbed at the beginning. So that's these, and of course your action cards. Set these aside, and I will definitely be sleeving these later. So, but all of these are going to be all the cards in this deck that you're going to be like setting out here, right? And that's going to be a lot of cards. Especially, it's going to be a huge stack once you start sleeving them. And yeah, so on these, you've got your own conservation type projects. As you can see, they've got the green type stuff going on. Those you can fund from your own hand or from the board if you have access to that card. The blue ones here are ones that you can do are, what's the name of it? It's a association? No, sponsors. I think these are the sponsors. And so these are guys that increase your intelligence or knowledge. They can, you know, let you have these special tiles and stuff like that, as you can see in the yellow. Let's open the next one and take a look at some of the actual animal cards that you'll find in the game. And just like Terraforming Mars, they'll offer their own icons there at the top, both animal type and the continent that they are on. And so as you specialize or diversify, that could help in various ways based on the different projects and conservation stuff, efforts that you can try to claim. Now, when cards like this one, where it's got the red on the left, you know, you see the habitat requirement up at the top, the cost to play the card, and then the minimum number of icons of that type for this to be played. So this, you know, lion can't be the first predator you have in the park, for example. They use real images and photography in a lot of these. I think most of them are pictures. If not, they're really highly detailed. Like this one, I think, is like just a really nicely painted image. But otherwise, like, there's a lot of actual photography of animals in here, which is always really cool. Because, I mean, if you like animals, which who doesn't, and if you want to play a game about a zoo, like, you want to be able to look at animals, right? So you're going to be able to see all kinds of animals. There's not a whole lot of repeats, very much like Terraforming Mars. There's not a lot of repeats. And they all have different abilities as well. I mean, certainly they've got their requirements on where they need to go in, you know, certain tiles, but they do have abilities, and some are like sunbathing is a type of ability that you might find. Hypnosis. There's snapping. There's constriction, and then, you know, like this one, like the hypnosis, it's an actual token, right, that you can give a player to, you know, affect their game, right? So you can kind of be almost like cursed in one of 4 ways, I think it is. I remember when I played early on, I got a sponsor card that basically prevented any player from hitting me with a status token. So it just seemed like an early way to avoid some of that take that elements that might happen. And so I played it early, and I guess it deterred people from at least trying to get a lot of those types of cards played, or at least trying to target me with them, because you couldn't. And so here we've got some more just animals. I see reptiles here, snakes and lizards and all that kind of stuff. Here's some birds. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful looking layout here, and the images used for these birds, for the animals in general. And most of them are photography. Like, there's only a few that they may not have been able to get a picture, and so they just got some like really nice drawings. And like this one is a drawing, like you can tell, right? And then the next one, that's a picture. So it's kind of a good combination of things. Overall, very good, very immersive on how this works out. And it's also, these are different ways that you can score, like the area here with the tan, those are scoring methods at the end of the game. So there you go. That is all the cards. Kind of went on through them for you. Everything in the game, these are really the only token bits, which are just like some wooden cubes and some pieces for your players that go onto the sponsor boards and whatnot. So even though there's not a whole lot of content as far as pieces, there's a lot to this game. It's very strategic. It's a really interesting, heavy Euro. A lot of fun, easy to get people into wanting to try it. And I think based on how much, you know, people have been logging plays and just talking about it, it's been hugely popular. So I recommend trying it if you can. If you get a copy, awesome, and congratulations, because it is a little tough right now, because it is hard to find. I think the demand was more than they anticipated. But yeah, Ark Nova. This has been an unboxing. I hope you enjoyed it. I've been Jared. Thanks for tuning in to the Meeple Mentor YouTube channel. Of course, subscribe, like, comment, all that if you enjoyed the video. And if you want to stick around, we've got tutorials on the channel, fully detailed and in-depth tutorials on a wide variety of games, but mostly the heavier ones and medium ones. That's what I tend to like, and what I feel like, you know, is more needed in the industry or in the YouTube space. We do unboxings, we do news, we do interviews, we have a podcast called Mentor Minutes. So if you're still listening to this video, thank you, and maybe consider sticking around a little longer by hitting that subscribe button. But otherwise, I've been Jared. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.